Well, first of all, I want to thank Chris very much for his involvement with getting us all together, Pennon as well, and of course Vodafone, and also the CBI, and don't forget the Western Morning News, which I have been quoted on the odd occasion. And hope to be again. But seriously, here we are, at Exeter Chiefs, and we talk about a great Southwest. Now, where could we be better than a great rugby club like the Chiefs to be absolutely pushing forward the great Southwest? I mean, many of us are born and bred in the Southwest. We know how great it is, but we've got to shout that very much from the rooftops. And can I also say to rain that, this rain is actually quite welcome at the moment. Just make sure you take it away again so it doesn't last too long, because this time of year it can get far too wet, and I put my farming hat on now. Many of you will know that I sort of chair the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs Select Committee, and so we are living now in a very, very interesting time where we can actually really take the natural capital and really do something with it. Because one of the things I find interesting about natural capital, we've spent quite a lot of time valuing it, but now we've got to actually make it work and actually use that capital for what its real value is. And of course, if you take the Southwest, we've got great food, we've got great farming, we've got great countryside, we've got great tourism, we've got great universities, and we've got great businesses. Now, how do we put all that very much together? And a lot of the reason why people come to live and work here is partly by that countryside. And, it might make you slightly frustrated getting from Exeter to Plymouth or wherever, but this is a marvellous countryside, a managed countryside. And that's where, if you take water, and I really think that what South West Water has done great up on Exmoor, we can do more of that. We can do water catchment in the areas so we can deal with flooding, and we can hold water when we need it, perhaps in the summer as well. And we can look at how we can actually, really positively pay farmers and landowners actually to manage that water better. It then protects us more than when it comes, if it may be the floods in Somerset, it may be, perhaps flash flooding anywhere here in Devon and across the whole of the West Country. We've got great counties, and I think the challenge for us is we love the identity, of our counties, and we like to say, well, if you're coming across the Tamar, you must show your passport and then make sure you go back again. We're not being, we love to make these old historic analogies, and it's great, and I think it's really good to have, but let's not use those sort of to an extreme where we actually hold ourselves back, because we really have all got to work together now. And so we can develop a policy now for agriculture and food and the environment that works for all. We can also build on the broadband, because the broadband is absolutely essential. I've still got, parts of industrial estates and others that some of the companies have to go home to do a lot of their connecting through computer and internet work, rather than being able to do it from their industrial site. I mean, this is absolute madness. And of course, the 303 is absolutely right. We've got to get that done, and we've got to finish it through to Honiton. We've also got to make, alterations and improvements to the North Devon Link Road. Lots of things done on rail as well, and I know you'll talk about that later. But it's the way we incorporate all these things, because, in order to invest in the Southwest, you've got to be absolutely sure that the government's going to put that money forward, which we are. But I accept what a lot are saying. The 303 and the tunnel underneath Stonehenge is all got to start to happen. We haven't got to just more than talk about it, and it's coming there. We've also got to do much more on the rail, but I think the broadband above all is the one great key, because rural tourist business, we did inquiry into that. Many sites now, if you're coming to a holiday park in the Southwest, in Devon and Cornwall or wherever, you want to be absolutely certain that you've got internet connection. So it's really key to make sure we've got that. And of course, with the next speaker coming on, we've also got to make sure we get the right access to the countryside, and we get the right coastal paths, and we get, again, make sure that not only can we get access to that countryside, but we can take the farmers and landowners along with us, because if you say to a farmer the right to roam, he or she usually goes up on the ceiling and then comes down again. So look, let's be absolutely certain that yes, we can have a right to roam, but just be a little bit conscious of the stocking and the cropping, and don't let the sheep into the corn or the cattle or whatever. And all these things, it all sounds very basic, but it's how we all work together. And I think we can. I know and I believe we live in a beautiful part. I've eaten great food, because you can see by the size of me I must have done over the years. But seriously, it's a case of how we now all work together. And again, I emphasize, great to bring this growth summit together. Let's keep this going. Let's keep pressure on government. And when we talk about local government and perhaps devolution, let's, for goodness sake, agree together rather than divide ourselves, because I spent 12 years in local government before I went to the European Parliament, before Westminster, and I know the propensity sometimes for local government to go off in different directions. Let's try and keep ourselves together. That way we get the very best deal out of government.